Yeah.
And I think this is a great place for floaters.
Ah, yeah. Bipedal, down below.
I think we should stay in the monster.
Okay.
I made it clear to all the designers that I didn't want anyone, including myself, to purposely reference any existing kaiju movie. We never ever wanted to make it an homage or a reference movie. I wanted the movie to be its own thing. I think eventually when we do the final model, we may want to leave this part more blank, more like a dinosaur chest. When I design monsters, I constantly am trying to find a way to be able to look at a monster for 20 minutes or more and have the design constantly transforming. Make it smaller, and that could be that.
Okay, sure.
And this becomes a little bigger forearm. And I like these legs better than these legs. If you can keep constantly shifting profile on a kaiju, then the audience doesn't feel they've already seen it. But there was one kaiju that was very difficult, Otachi. It's a kaiju that encompasses about 3/4 of the Hong Kong battle. And I wanted that kaiju to work in the water, in the land, and in the air. And for that kaiju to feel different every time. We have some outlandish kaiju, but I didn't want them to be so outlandish that you would not think it's a real animal. We wanted to stick to the basic groups of kaijus that would be based on life forms that exist on Earth. So we tried to echo a gorilla, we tried to echo a shark.
The fact that they seem to be based and sourced in nature, there's a reality to them. The features, there's something very natural about them.
I wanted to echo animal powers and animal defense mechanisms. For example, there's a kaiju that spits acid and has a really elaborate sac under its neck. And we came up with the idea that it needed to regurgitate. It was like acid reflux times X. We came up with the idea that some of them would have electrical charges, charging and discharging that electricity like an electric eel. All these things are weapons that you would see on a smaller scale in nature. One of the rules I gave to the kaiju designers is I wanted to think how a man in a suit would fit in there. The kaijus are trying to honor the spirit and the feeling of the classical kaiju. We are keeping them mostly two-legged, not humanoid, but sort of a silhouette that reminds you of those classical ones. Each kaiju has been evolved and tinkered with to be more and more effective at killing machine. So you see the Category 3s, the Category 4s, and the Category 5s. And each of them is not only bigger and badder, but it's also smarter and faster. We wanted to come up with an idea that would make them feel like natural disasters. Like you have the scale for tornadoes and a scale for earthquakes. A kaiju is like that. A kaiju is a force of nature. They can be destroying a city, you still love them. The basic enjoyment you get from a kaiju movie is the same that you get into a mega wrestling match. And half the fun is to see the kaiju that emits radiation from its mouth fight the kaiju that is impervious to radiation and can fly, So you see them go at each other, and in this case, kaiju versus Jaeger was the same thing.